we're here today, first of all, to welcome Dave Emery to the United States of America. And we are also bringing to you today an introductory video for the series Conscious Evolution Teachings with Jane Evershed and Dave Emery. Without any further ado, do you have anything to say, Dave?
No, except hello and welcome to America, Dave. I'm enjoying my stay here. It's wonderful. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, it's been a pleasure having you here as a guest and a friend. And it's really amazing, everybody, when you're in the same house as Dave Emery. If you have a question about anything, you go to Dave, and 9 times out of 10, he's got the answer. It's just incredible. I've learned so much while Dave has been here. And soon he's off to Missouri. So I hope he has a good time over there. So the whole point of this Conscious Evolution series is also to bring attention to Dave's book that he's working on. He came to the United States to finish it and get it published. And a few of us are helping him with that task. So we have started a fundraiser at GoFundMe, and I'll put that link in, and so you know where to go to contribute. And we'd love more than anything for Dave's book to be published as soon as possible, because all of this information is so important for humanity right now. I can't even express how much it is important. And one of the reasons being that we were given a beautiful gift from Sirius B about 250,000 years ago in the form of the CDT plates. And herein lies all the information of our galactic history and galactic science. And so with this information, we know without a doubt that we can ascend. We know how, and we know the mathematics behind it, the symbolism, the codes, the sacred geometry. And it doesn't seem like some daunting ethereal thing like, oh, one day I'm going to ascend, but I don't know how. It changes the game. So Dave, if you could just give us just a little bit about the CDT plates and where they originated from, and then I can carry on with the agenda.
Okay. Well, great introduction. And thank you so much for all the help that you and your colleagues are giving me with regard to publishing the book. I really appreciate it so much. I don't think I would have been able to do it without you at all. But with regard to the CDT plates, well, the CDT stands for Cloister Duratura tapes, which refer to the tapes which were given to us to encompass all the information that was required in dimensions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That is actually 2 harmonic universes, harmonic universe 1, where we are, and harmonic universe 2, which includes Sirius B of dimension 6. And they were given to us as a wonderful gift 250,000 years ago, as Jane has just said, by the Urtites, Urtites, who are a very ancient and enlightened group of people from Sirius B in dimension 6. And they actually gave us these tapes so that we would have access, a simple, easy access to the Mahabharata. And now the texts of the Mahabharata are in fact billions of years old, and they elucidate all the details about cosmic science, how the universe is structured, how particles manifest and move, and how individual consciousnesses, such as we have, manage to navigate our way through these holographic realms where we exist now, so that we can manifest back again into where we originally came from, which is pure consciousness of God source. So the Mahabharata texts tell us all of that and more. And so to make it easy for us down here on Earth 250,000 years ago, they were put into specifically encoded discs called the CDT plates, and there were 12 of them. And each of the 12 original tribes of angelic humans had one of these tapes. That was the original design. Each one of the 12 tribes held one of these tapes. And of course, they've been very much sought after and hunted down by those beings who have wanted to have the information, but for totally alternative reasons, for control. So most of us live in the process of love and joy and expansion and excitement and unity. But there are some beings out there who don't operate under those same protocols. They operate under the system of, can I get control of everything? Can I own everything? Can everything be mine? And so we have two alternative ways of looking at the world. And the CDT plates were to help us, the angelic humans, if we started to forget who we were and what the real course of life should be. They were all the information was contained in those CDT plates. And so that's the history of those particular discs.
Thank you, Dave. That was most succinct. Well, what I'd like to say about the CDT plates is that if somebody put the CDT plates, the information in front of me on one side, and on the other side, there was a certificate for a beautiful beach house in my dream beach in the world, I would look at both of them and I would go, I'll take the CDT plates, thanks, because the reason being that once you ascend, you go to these higher dimensions. And if you stop off in the 8th dimension, you can have whatever you want. Immediately, you are able to manifest whatever it is that you want. So knowing that, my choice would be the CDT plates for 400. Thank you. So anyway, having said that, I'd like to go through what some of our conscious evolution teachings are going to be about in the future. What we're going to start off with, because it gives you such a beautiful overall picture of the information contained herein, are the 12 most epic events in our galactic history. So I'll go back to that in a minute. Maybe you can just state some of them. But then after that, we're going to go into who we really are. And believe it or not, the certainty of a glorious future by way of Dave's explanation of the SLINGSHOT EVAC, which is such a cool name. I mean, we should make t-shirts that say SLINGSHOT EVAC, I'm on my way. So, and then we're going to go into the end of confusion. Wouldn't you just love to live in a state of knowing that there is an end to all the confusion? And in fact, we have the science in there, in those CDT plates, that to me serve as a measure for truth. And when you take anything else that's going on in the world, whatever it is, and you line it up with the coding and the symbols of the root and origin of pure consciousness, combined with the masculine and feminine energies, that is your code to measure everything against. This is also a coding for the Trinity. This is the true Trinity. And then we're going to follow that up with, where did pure consciousness come from? And here's another stunner for everybody. Was the Big Bang really a simultaneous nano-burst? Then we're going to move into the return of human angelic language and the Tower of Babel. Now, the Tower of Babel has always had me so intrigued. So I can't wait to hear what Dave says about that. And then the last on our list for the near future is, who derailed joy? Alighting from the Rollercoaster of Deception. So that sounds like a pretty good lineup to me. And I was wondering, Dave, off the tip of your head, do you think you could tell us the 12 most epic events in our galactic history without missing a beat and going into detail on any one of those?
That's very unkind of you.
As promised, I'd let you in on a little secret. and that is the 12 most epic events in our entire galactic history from 450 billion years ago. Take it away, Dave.
Well, in actual fact, yeah, so many things have happened in cosmic history. I mean, it's totally amazing, and certainly most of us have never really understood that because we've never been told about it. In fact, we've even been told that there's nothing out there beyond, Earth. There's no alien life. There's no intelligent life, etc., etc. So we've never really thought about cosmic history. But let me just surprise you, because this is just one of the start of this astonishing list of things that have happened in cosmic history. And I'm going to go right back to 480 billion years ago. Yeah, okay, I know it's a stretch for your mind. No, probably is. 480 billion years ago, all right? And that was an event which affected us right here, right now, 480 billion years later. And the event itself took place in an alternative, what we call an Akasha system, a huge, vast, enormous collection of galaxies and universes, which is known as an Akasha universe. And it was separate from ours. And in terms of light year distance, it was just hugely distant. But it's had an effect upon us today. And what happened there? Well, there was a cataclysmic war, and half of a whole universe vanished and was vaporized into dust. And the beings that remained, who were very highly coded and very intelligent and had huge technological prowess, what happened is that they were determined, so desperate and despairing about what had happened, about losing so many lives and so many planets and systems and stars, that they said, how did this happen? We cannot allow this to happen again. And they knew about the cosmic sciences, the divine design. And they said, we think the divine design is wrong. And to stop this ever happening again, we're going to create a new design. We are going to take charge of the universe and make it a better place. So 480 billion years ago, something terrible happened, and a group of people, and they were called the Boranthensala, they decided that they would recreate the cosmic sciences to make a better universe. And how did they do this? They sorted out a behavioral experiment, the like of which has never been seen before and will hopefully never be seen again. They divided into 3 planetary systems, groups of people into a victim group, a victimizer group, and a control group. The control group, with the experiment leaders, would investigate and monitor the behaviors of the other 2 planetary systems over a long period of time, and we're talking 25 to 30,000 Earth years. They would see how people's behavior shifted and changed, and if there's any way in which they could fix that behavior as it became destructive, so that they'd understand why their universe was destroyed. Well, what happened, to cut a long story short, is that the victim group remained the same, quite compliant, happily living their lives. The control group was safely secured somewhere else and watching. And the victimizer group went mad. They ran riot in their planetary system, and one particular race line took charge. They slaughtered everyone else, or took control of them. And that group was the Borgia Mucellai. And that Borgia Mucellai group knew all about the experiment at the higher levels of their elite control. And they decided that they would take charge of the experiment. So they went to the planetary system of the victims and destroyed them. Then they went to the control group where the experiment leaders were, and they took over that. Over a long period of time, what happened is the Borgia Mucellai decided that they would invest their new ideas about how to control the universe for the better of everyone through their own desires. And that is the result of the victim-victimizer blame game. And through their time rip and wormhole technology, through which they could bore into other universes, they introduced the same protocols into our universe and many others. This is where we originally got the impetus, the energy for the victim-victimizer blame game. Okay, so that gives you an overview, everybody, about the first initial and most important galactic event that ever happened. It has affected us today. So I'll quickly go through all of the others that impinged upon us after that and as a result. The next one was 450 billion years ago, and that was 30 billion years after that victim-victimizer blame game was instituted into the grids of the universes. So in 450 billion years ago, the Aurora Continuum began. The Aurora Continuum basically was the prototype for the fail-safe that we are existing through now, so that we can do our SLINGSHOT EVAC of Ascension out of our current situation. So that was 450 billion years ago. The Aurora Continuum was arranged to help us even today. And then 300 billion years ago, around about 300 billion years ago, the effects of all that had gone before came into our time matrix of 15 dimensions, our universal collection of universes. And that was when there was a huge cataclysm in the cradle of Lyra, which is dimensions 10, 11, and 12, and in the heart of the Andromeda galaxy. And there was a huge cataclysm, a star was destroyed, and there was a tremendous cosmic war. And that shifted our whole time matrix a number of degrees, and that caused a shimmering resonance throughout the whole of our universes, which is, we're still feeling the effects of that today. After that came the 250 billion years ago, the Azurite race line was created as guardians of the universe, along with many others. But the Azurites were our prototype ancestors, ancient ancestors. Then 150 billion years ago, there were many artificial weapons and protocols set into the grids of many of the universes. For example, the Fibonacci spiral, golden mean, the Vesica Pisces, a lot of the sacred geometry that is not actually sacred, and Metatronic harness, beast mechanism, the gravitron. You'll find out all about these, but these were artificial mechanisms used to control universes as well as the life fields upon them. And they're still extant today. They still work, and they're still extraordinarily powerful. And then 600 million years ago, and by the way, there were lots of wars still happened throughout the galaxy of many of the universes. But 600 million years ago, it came really close to us. It came into our Earth line of ascension. And that means that, Earth has an ascension part of itself as called Tyra, and then it has another one called Gaia and another one called Andromeda. So that ascension line of planets was affected, that directly affected us 600 million years ago, when the planet Tara suffered a cataclysm as well, and many parts of it fell away from the harmonic universe 2, dimensions 4, 5, and 6, and fell into our universe here, where we are. 250 million years ago, that's 350 million years after the Tara cataclysm, 250 million years ago, the angelic human genome, was created and placed into the fields of Earth, our Earth here, so that we would be able to assist Earth and Tara and all of the planets in making their ascension protocols recover. So we were birthed as angelic indigo humans, to be able to assist Earth and the whole life field into return of the cosmic design principles. But there were lots of wars and lots of conflict. And 5.5 million years ago, there were the electric wars. So that's the next item. That's number 7 on this list. And the electric wars were devastating, and they resulted in almost all life on Earth being ceased. It was an extinction event, pretty much. And angelic humans had to leave the planet, go underground, or were just vaporized or lost in the huge flood which covered the planet, like the one that you saw in the film 2012. Nothing could happen on Earth, certainly for angelic indigos, until 4 million years ago. So 1 million years passed before we were reseeded again. And that was our next number on our list, where we were reseeded again. But again, there was conflict in cosmic realms and on Earth about 1 million years ago, as a result of the Nephilim and many other fallen angelic beings becoming involved in the Earth drama. There was a huge war which lasted 1,200 years. And that was known as actually the 1,000-year war, even though it was for 1,200 of our Earth years. And yet again, there was disaster and mayhem and cataclysm upon Earth. And it's curiously enough, our archaeologists and anthropologists tell us that they've discovered that for some reason, about 900,000 years ago, there was a disaster. They don't know anything about it. There was only 1,280 humans left, out of which we have arrived. So even they recognize that something happened 900,000 years ago. Well, I can tell them that it was the 1,200-year war. And so that meant that we had to be reseeded again as angelic humans, this time around about 800,000 years ago. And then we come to number 11 on our list, and that's 208,216 BC. So 210,000 years ago, there was another cataclysm. It affected us greatly, but it didn't actually destroy anything particularly on Earth. It destroyed something in another universe. In another universe, and here's a mind stretcher for you, in another universe, a group of very highly technologically powerful beings used tractor beams, like they showed in the film Star Wars, tractor beams to pull a whole star, a Stargate 10, out of that particular universe, and they pulled it close to our universe. And that actually was known as the Fall of Brennau. And the Brennau was the Stargate 10 planet of this other universe. And that had a huge effect upon us because it actually shifted the frequency fields in our world. It damaged the template frequencies and the grid structure of Earth. And we had a pole shift. And not only that, we had our mathematical 12 base, which is how our geomancies of our universe work on a base 12 mathematics, were shifted into base 10 mathematics, which we've only just started to come out of now. And the final one is number 12, which of course is our Ascension. And I'd just like to welcome you on board the SLINGSHOT EVAC Ascension up through the time matrix so that we can actually return to who we really are.
Dave, that was incredible. And your memory and your knowledge are so astounding. So I want to ask the audience, how do you like them bananas? You know, we live in such a state of confusion. You know, we hear about the Elohim over here, Elohai, Elohim, who are they, and who are the Draconians, and who are the Khazarian Mafia, and where did they come from? And we're so confused, and we just really don't know, you know, where we stand in all this. And the reason Dave wrote this book is so that we would all know and have a very, very clear picture of our galactic history and how important it is. And you can see right away, 80 billion years ago, the blame game started with the victimizer victim thing going on, and we are still living it with it today. But our ascension is going to lift us up out of it. So the one thing we cannot forget is that this program here is to introduce the conscious evolution teachings. So I do hope you'll share this around, because, you know, we're doing nothing less than taking the world by storm with this incredible information. And the other thing that we're both doing is both got our new little substacks, stacking up our little information bases here, also to create interest around the book so that people can get snippets and information that's going to be in the book in black and white in front of you that you can copy and share with everybody. I do the same thing because since I found this information, I know that it is the greatest measure of truth from looking at it. And so I'm going to stick with it. You know, I'm not going to be going down the road and joining the Jehovah's Witnesses for my next big truth thrill. I'm sticking with this information. To me, it is quintessential to our understanding and ascension. So check out our Substacks. I'll put a link in there too for that. You know, we're going to be talking about current hot topics and analyzing them for their authenticity or purposeful deception. We're going to expose controlled opposition. We're going to draw attention to the value of the wisdom of our ancient and recent history in order to contextualize our lives today. And a lot of our stories are gleaned from inspiration that serve the purpose of solutions derived from both the ancient sacred history and the cosmic science. So you can see there's a lot in there. It's all about the path to ascension, which is clearly affirmed historically and scientifically. So we're hoping that the publications of the Substacks are going to help sell the book and the copies. And then I was thinking it would be really nice if Dave could throw in a little bit about his recent history and coming to America and what he is, how he's doing. What do you see, Dave, in the future with the book, especially? And give us a little update about how you got here.
Well, with the book, it's interesting because I had no intention of writing a book. I spent most of my time in the last few years just writing for me, finding out things just so that I could learn things myself and make sense of the universe in which I exist, and that's all I was interested in. And then well, there are no accidents in our lives. It seems like there are, but there are no accidents. And I seemed to accidentally get in contact with Sacha Stone, talk to him, and as a result of that, I went on to one of his programs, extremely nervous and tense, and wondering what on earth I'd let myself in for. But at the end of that particular program, which was very interesting, listening to the other people who are very, very intelligent and very well read and everything, I realized that maybe I should actually put into a book all the things I've been writing for myself. So what I was writing for myself should really be in a book so that other people, if they wanted to, they could find out as well what I found out. So that was really the impulse behind me writing this book. And it was really down to Sacha inviting me to talk, and that gave me the inspiration to do the book. So that's how I got to be here now, really. Otherwise, I'd still be scribing away on my own, just having a little cup of tea every so often and just talking to myself. So now here I am in America. I've been parachuted in here, and I can't even imagine how that happened either. So I've met a fraternity of wonderful people, very expanded souls with great minds, fabulous sense of humor, and a little bit eccentric too. I mean, and I think that's wonderful. So I've got a lot of people who are helping me and supporting me, and it really has expanded my awareness of what's really going on in the universe. And I've learned such a lot because all of the people I'm talking to and working with have got so many massive volumes of information and data tucked away inside their DNA, and they're sharing it with me. So it's totally wonderful. That's really the story behind the book, and how I got here, and with the help of some wonderful people.
Thanks, Dave. Yes. Well, I'm glad that you're around and you're sharing this information, because we know that the compilation of the CDT plates is a vast, vast tome of information. And some of it is even the diagrams are graphically challenging to even look at, to understand. And most people would equate Ashiana Dean with all of these teachings as a speaker. And a lot of these teachings do come from her, indeed. But the beauty of Dave and what he does is he takes this extremely complex mass of information that is so intertwined backwards and forwards through time and space and simplifies it so that us little people running around on the ground, by the way, we're not so little, and that's something I would like to say as well, talk about that. But in the meantime, I want to say that here it is, dished up for you on a platter, very delicious and tasty information that you can actually understand and put into the context of your own life and really realize what Ascension actually is, and not just some etherical thing that's going to happen maybe sometime in the future or the near future, depending on a solar flare. So now, in sort of closing, I guess, I'd like to ask Dave to briefly tell us how amazing we all are, the angelic humans, and why we need to believe in ourselves. And I may add to that once you're finished, Dave.
Well, thanks, Jane. Well, actually, that is the most important aspect of all of that we are doing, and that all of you are doing in your lives. It really is most pivotal, and I never knew this at all. I was just getting on with my 3D life, as most of us do, paying bills, working, looking after the family, things like that. But actually, always at the back of my mind, I realized that there was something more, and that I was something more, and that everybody else around me was something more. And actually, that's really what Jane is alluding to. You see, the thing is that we are really all aspects of the energy of all that is, the pure consciousness that exists within us. And when we come to realize that, when we come to fully understand or understand that we are actually aspects of the God source that has created the cosmic design, and that it is based on all the things that we believe in. And I know you believe in things like love and joy, laughter, and sharing, being together. I know you do. All of us do. And when you put all of that together and you realize that we all of us has that experience and that belief in who we are, that's our identity. So everything that we are talking about, everything that we write about, everything that we tell you about and share with you is about identity. And ultimately, it all comes down to who you are. And who you are is, in my view and in Jane's view, we are God source. Yes, I know we don't look like God source a lot of the time, and sometimes we don't act like it. But essentially, in our essence, in our living presence, we are God source. And this is the message that Jane and myself and many others, and Ashiana Dean, and all the people who are expanding consciousness together as one, all of us are stating the same thing. And when we, all of us together as one, recognize that we are all aspects of the same energy, the same pure consciousness of absolute love, that's when the whole universe changes.
So what I would like to add to that is what I call the great bedazzling. And human beings are so easily bedazzled. They were bedazzled by the world fairs and all the products that they saw there. And that's what got us into this manic materialist state that we're in today. They were mesmerized by stardom and the movies, when the movies came out. They're mesmerized by celebrities. Oh, why? Oh, because they're famous and they're wealthy. Well, the other side made them famous and wealthy. It wasn't really through anything in particular that they did. Oh, maybe they had a beautiful voice, but many of us have beautiful voices. But how many of us end up on the celebrity stage to be adored and worshipped? the same thing is also happening with our galactic friends. It seems that some of our galactic friends have taken a great interest in us lately because they know what's about to happen and they want in on it. And so they bring all their high tech and their beautiful looks. They're very, very handsome, some of these galactic people, and they look beautiful. And it's almost like they're magic because they have the tech to do these things that we don't have yet. You know, right here in our back garden, I don't have a little spaceship that I can take off on. But what we have and what's been overlooked is because we have no tools and we don't look perfect and we're battle scarred and you see in our eyes the pain and suffering that we have been through and overcome. And this has made us strong amongst all in the universe, the journey to Earth and to be here and live here and go through everything that we go through. So please don't think of yourself as lesser than any infiltration that might come from outside. Just because it's different or amazing or you never learned about it before, it doesn't make wherever that came from superior to you. So that's what I would like to end off with today. And Dave, if there's anything else you'd like to close with, that would be wonderful.
Well, I just want to say I endorse everything that you said so graphically and so wonderfully there, Jane. We're walking the same pathway, you and I, and our direction of travel is the same as so many of you out there. We're all going in the same way. We're going to the same place. We're going towards who we truly are. And I would endorse you, Jane, for everything you've said about believing in ourselves as a unity and as individuals. And thank you very much for allowing me to walk with you hand in hand along this pathway.
I think it's more my pleasure than yours, Dave. Okay, goodbye, everybody. And don't forget to go to that GoFundMe page. We'll see you soon with the next episode. Bye.